And the final t-shirt winner is PP3KO7. I'll be emailing you soon. Pan inquires if that's what really happened. The old Kai believes it to be exactly the case. Goku has become one with Shenron and ventured to the Ryu Ocean realm. With the bright idea, Trunks excitedly suggests they simply have Dende summon him, just as they would any other dragon. But it won't be that easy. Generally speaking, you can't have a dragon delivered made to order. Brainstorming a way around this, Videl suggests surely the Elder Kai has this figured out too. But the Dragon Balls themselves are the only known way of hailing those from the next realm to this one, quizzing the gang on what's become of the ones of Earth. Still a little out of the loop, Goten comedically asks who's talking, only to be shushed by his sister-in-law. Gohan is pretty sure they're still on the lookout with Dende and Popo, but only in stone form. The deity figured this would be the case. The balls have been purged of their minus energy, but alas, haven't gathered enough regular energy to be used again. It will likely take another 1,000 years before they can be useful once more. Which is a bit too long for this particular scenario. The prince butts in to point out this is why he said earlier, they don't need Kakarot. Even if they were somehow to magically get him here, he wouldn't stand a chance against Xicor. Gohan agrees, muttering there's no point in reviving him if he can't win. The Kaioshin announces to all, Xicor is Goku's son, and his misunderstanding of Goku's nature is what started this battle in the first place. This is a fight that may be able to be won through dialogue alone. So for that purpose in itself, it's imperative they involve Goku. Still being how he is, Goten whispers to Videl he's going to get in trouble if he doesn't get back to school soon. The Kaio continues, theorizing that perhaps Goku has merged with Shenron. Fighting may not be out of the question either. Gohan amazed to hear this, begging he explain further. Much like other iterations of fusing, when dragons and mortals become one, it has been told their power increases exponentially, tens of times greater than previous. At least, that is a legend. It has never been confirmed. Vegeta, as well as the others, bulking at this, as Goten, still on his nonsense riff, for whatever reason, seeks Pan's permission to go back to class, who snaps around to command her uncle to be quiet already, apparently not understanding the severity of this situation. Somehow, Trunks and Videl go to comfort him, assuring they'll explain everything to him later. Though the young girl brings up a good point. Without the Dragon Balls, none of what the Elder is saying can even be put into practice. But there actually exists a method that would immediately restore power to the Dragon Balls. If each of the 7 are simultaneously infused with light energy, the orbs will be rejuvenated. Almost like this idea inspired something in Dragon Ball Super. Begging the question what light energy is, the old Kai reveals it's a powerful key only able to be produced by a few select races. It's very rarely seen in the universe, causing Gohan to ask where they could find such a race. And of course, as luck would have it, the Saiyans happen to be one of them. This news rather jarring to our heroes. Putting 2 and 2 together, Trunks inquires specifically if he means Super Saiyans, due to the actual light they admit. The battle with Goku and Yakan being a prime example, which is indeed the case. When 7 Super Saiyans simultaneously infuse the 7 Dragon Balls with light energy, their problem will be solved. Now with a clear goal at hand, the Z-Fighters have taken their first step in bringing back Goku. At the very least, they now hold a sliver of hope. When Trunks makes a horrifying discovery. Between himself, Goten, Vegeta, Pan, Brawl, and Gohan, there are only 6 Saiyans on the entire planet. The prince grumbles, so what if they did have one more? Pan and Brawl aren't even Super Saiyans. So again, all of this is pointless. The girls rise to their feet, seemingly in annoyance, at the same time shouting he not underestimate him. Not hesitating to prove Vegeta wrong, they have actually achieved the form. As the day shows to be full of surprises, he demands they explain themselves and tell how and when they unlock this. Giggling at the look on everyone's face, turns out the pair have been secretly training for quite a while now. Even Big Brother was completely unaware of his sister's progress. Although, the problem still remains. They're a single Saiyan shy, causing the ship to momentarily grow silent. Gohan again beckons the old Kaioshin what they should do, who is also at an unfortunate loss for answers. Talking in circles, Vegeta again puts his foot down in defeating Xicor himself. But the others know this isn't a solution that's all too reliable. Several days pass. A large militaristic presence has gathered at the site of the Z-Sword. As a soldier informs, he has nothing to report as of yet. Looks like the gang chose to utilize the influence of Mr. Satan to assure Xicor isn't accidentally released. He commands the men not to allow so much as a single bug to enter this sector. The others have been made aware of what's going on. Krillin whimpers to his wife he hopes they don't get killed by this Xicor guy too. After all, he hasn't met his 1 to 2 mandatory deaths per series yet. Not helping to ease his fears, 18 thinks aloud. If he has come to rule this universe, they're probably all doomed. The former warrior feels helpless in his old age, wondering if there is anything they can do. In the background, Roshi snickers about this whole situation, admitting Goku must be a pretty smooth operator after all, to be swinging behind a scary wife's back like this, with space babes no less. Though Krillin argues he doesn't think that's how it went down. Echoing my own thoughts, Turtle asks how many times Krillin has died, including the pending Xicor one. Giving it an honest count, it looks like this'll be number 5. With Goku, Pikkon, and the Shadow Dragons, Omega has just finished filling in our heroes of the happenings on Earth. Jumping directly into recovery mode, Goku asks what he can do to help everyone. But with a stern leer, he tells the Saiyan he can do nothing. The residents of the Ryu Ocean Realm cannot travel to the lower worlds of their own volition. Nova adding, that includes Goku, whose evil brother, Eyes, cackles since he fused with the Earth's dragon. He's one of them now, and can't go home unless he is summoned like any other Shenron. The news puts him in a rare state of powerlessness. Oceanus quips he should have known all of this beforehand, reprimanding him for not being fully informed before making his decision. Suddenly, a light engulfs the room, and a particular energy is sensed by all. The Shadow Dragons recognize what's going on immediately, the source of which emanates from Piranga's palace. Matter-of-factly, Omega states Namek's dragon must have been summoned. Upon asking what this means, given the recent circumstances, there is little doubt the people of Earth are behind this. On New Namek, in order to make their wishes, Gohan and Trunks have somehow made a quick off-world road trip. The first, to restore any damage caused to the Earth since Xicor's visit. Second, restore the lives of all those killed in the aforementioned encounter. Which brings back Kibito Kai. But does that also mean? Glancing over at their comrade, the others notice the change as well, questioning each other what their final wish should be. Trunks figures it's at least worth a shot, and requests Son Goku be brought to this very spot. Mori relays the wish, but predictably, it can't be done, as reviving Goku would greatly exceed Piranga's power. Even though it's what they expected, Goten can't help but feel let down, resolving they'll just need to find another Super Saiyan after all, causing Trunks to remember something. When they were kids, didn't they fight a really strong Super Saiyan with Gohan and Videl? Turning his way, he couldn't possibly mean, but he does, suggesting they revive Broly. He reminds the obvious, and Broly was their enemy, and how bad of an idea this is. However, what other options do they have at this point? Besides, considering how strong each of them are now, not to mention Gohan and Vegeta, he shouldn't be a threat to anyone. Reluctantly agreeing, Goten doesn't want any part of this if things turn south. He questions Mori if they can still bring someone back to life even if they died a really long time ago. But the Namek has complete confidence in Piranga's ability to grant this. With that, he pleads they bring the one called Broly back to life, the one who died on Earth. While the wish is being made, Goten brings up a good point. What if he decides to go all crazy here as soon as he wakes up? But his friend quells they can handle him, confirming this can easily be fulfilled. Listening in, Old Kai questions who Broly is.
Your wish has been granted. Farewell.
Whipping their heads back and forth, the boys can't sense Broly anywhere. Mori informs if he died on Earth, that is where he'll be resurrected as well, proving Trunks' plan less than perfect after all. Knowing if they don't get back home soon, Broly will wreck the planet before Xicor even gets a chance to. Coming to their rescue, Kibito Kai extends an arm to teleport them back to Earth, who are elated to see him. On which, confused, Broly asks himself what happened, as he was sure he had been killed. He blindly wonders what's going on. Instinctively sensing his power, Vegeta touches down nearby, though he's furious to find he has somehow come back again. The prodigy not too happy to see the prince either, but he does manage to speak a few words instead of rashly running into battle, verifying this truly is the living world. Vegeta smirks, of course it is, giving his Saiyan counterpart an even further shock, as he suddenly remembers Goku. More so, the family Kamehameha that killed him in the first place. The memory's burning right through him. Realizing what's going on, Vegeta mockingly asks if remembering his own death is haunting him that much. Jumping between the pair, Gotenks pleads they both stop. Specifically Broly though, who naturally takes a bit more to be restrained. Laying eyes on his half-son? The confusion is shared between them, as Broly questions who this guy is now. Gritting his teeth, Vegeta admits he figured the boys were behind this. But lying through his teeth, the fused warrior assures it wasn't him, it was, When Broly creeps up bellowing, he not interfere. Take this! Galactic Donuts! Ensnaring the enraged Saiyan. It seems their plan has a shot in the dark after all. Though, with such a mindless fighter, our heroes have a new task at hand, in finding a way to control Broly. Somewhere in the snowy highlands, Android 17 seems to miss his target. The Ranger wonders what has happened. There are hardly any animals here anymore. Ader notes the Earth has been strange for a little while now, believing something bad has happened. The admission gets the cyborg's attention. Most likely, he thinks this means another battle has started. Reloading his rifle, 17 can't help but quip. Earth just gets itself in one pinch after another. Continuing to press his concerns, Android 8 reminds this new threat probably involves his friends. But he responds he never really got acquainted with the heroes of Earth. Regardless, doesn't this include his sister? Suggesting he could at least go and help her. But again, he feels it's not his place. After all, it's not like she's ever come looking for him or anything. Really pressing the issue, the robot insists she'll need his help, and he is surely one of the strongest fighters on the planet. With a smile, 17 assures, to her, he's only that guy who killed her husband. It's pretty obvious no matter the circumstances, she doesn't want his help. Ever the bleeding heart, Frankenstein pleads his friend understand that was no fault of his own, but only due to the meddling of Dr. Mew, and he must learn to accept that. At any rate, she doesn't even know he was resurrected, so he thinks the best thing to do is to leave her be. But if number 8 wants to go so bad, he's welcome to venture to assist on his own, finally putting the robot in a state of silence. Although Earth could surely use every last warrior it has, even a fighter as powerful as 17 may not be much more than a speed bump.